welcome back to Darak Watches. I'm Darak. Today we have a Seiko mod. It contains sapphire crystal, bezel, and handset. So the first step will be removing the bracelet or strap. In this case is the bracelet. So I will remove the clasp spring bar first so it can lay flat while I'm taking off the spring bar on the watch so I won't scratch the watch with the bracelet. After I remove the bracelet, there's definitely a lot of scratches underneath the end links. The customer said don't worry about it, but still I will try to fix it for him. Now I need to use my bezel removing tool to remove the bezel. How to use this tool is quite easy. I just need to align the gap between the bezel and the case on the right side of the tool and then close it up so the left side of the tool also align to that gap, and then just turn the knob. Both sides of the knife will squeeze inward and then pop out the bezel. This is the most safe way to remove the bezel without scratching the case or the bezel. Normally the bezel will not just pop out, it will open up a safe enough gap so I can use the prying tool to open it. What you are seeing here is the bezel click spring. This spring is very delicate, so I have to use very gentle pressure to pry out and take it away. Now we are working on the bezel insert because my customer, he wished to use original bezel insert to his new bezel, so I need to remove this bezel insert in one piece to able to transfer it to the new bezel. And what I'm doing right here is actually I pre-soak the whole thing into a cup of hot water for a few minutes to let the adhesive soften. Use a knife to pry between the bezel and the bezel insert. This procedure can be very tedious because I need to pry a little and put it back into the water and pry more until the whole thing is loose enough so I can pull it away with my fingers. Why I use this very timely matter I will explain in the back. After spending 30 minutes of cleaning off the old adhesive, now I'm applying the new adhesive onto the bezel. What I'm using here is a die cut for SKX 007 3M adhesive. Why I didn't use contact cement, because I think it's a little bit messy to work with, and also if my customer changes his mind, he wants to change it again, it will be nearly impossible to pry away the contact cement. So why I didn't save myself some effort, just use goof off to dissolve the adhesive, because when I started modding watches, that is way back ago, I actually tried this method. You can see this is old footage, and the loom pips somehow disagree with the goof off, because inside goof off there's acetone and the loom pips are actually made from plastic. So after 40 minutes 50 minutes soaking in goof off, somehow the loom pip is destroyed. As you can see in the photo, the left side is treated by goof off and the right side is not, and you can clearly see that the plastic is discolored, is blurry, and is destroyed. Comparing to the right side, is still crisp and the edges are still intact. So after this failure, I just stopped using this method. Luckily, I discovered this very early when I started modding watches, and none of my customers are affected by this. Okay, now the next step will be strip down the whole watch. That will include the case back gasket, the crown, and the movement, so we can access the crystal and then swap out the crystal. After the internal guts has been removed, now I can use my crystal press to press out the crystal. The customer opted for a very thick and top beveled sapphire crystal, and then you can see it's very thick comparing to original glass. I'm cleaning up the glass because there is a little bit dust and debris on the glass, and then I soon realized, it looks like a big dust over there and stick to the glass. I tried to use radical to clean it away, even use pegwood to try to scrape it away, and then I soon realized, oh no, that's not dust. That's a tiny chip on the sapphire crystal. And then my customer go and contact the original seller, and the original seller, which I don't want to mention, he refused to give him a refund because he didn't check this while receiving the crystal before handing over to a third-party watchmaker. For sure, my customer are very upset about this situation, so he went to another part supplier, and this part supplier actually told him this top bevel crystal is a chip magnet, so they don't sell it. So if you want to order this type of crystal, please keep in mind. Now I'm swapping out the original hands to a Marine Master 300 style hands. My customer also asks for a slight polish, and this is what I'm doing right now. I'm using Cape Cod, CAPECOD. They called it the Rolex best friend, and I can see why, because you can polish out any tiny scratches fairly easy. You can see it leave a lot of residue that's actually lubrication. The abrasive is the cloth itself. Every wipe, it will take away a very tiny amount of metal. So I will say it's fairly easy to control if you even have no experience with polishing. Okay, I will say this polishing procedure is very time consuming, so I won't bore you out with all the polishing footage. I will cut away all of them that just jump to the end results. My goal here is just give the case a very light polish without over polishing and destroy the details. After the polishing, there is a lot of residue on the case and case back, so I'll put it in an ultrasonic washer to give it a deep clean. What I'm using here is just plain water with some dish soap. The new crystal finally arrived from my customer, and now we are assembling back the watch. You will see I installed the crystal gasket, the chapter ring, and then the crystal. And I will use a crystal press to install the crystal. After the crystal has been replaced, now I'm installing the whole watch case back. That will include the crown and stem assembly. We are testing the waterproof of the case. Now I'm using the speed lubrication to put the correct amount of silicone grease on the O-ring. Again, I'm water pressure testing the whole case without the movement inside because we just replaced the crystal gasket, and the new O-ring. Luckily, I didn't see any tiny bubble stream popping out from the crystal or the case back. That means the job had been performed correctly. Before I disassemble the watch again, now I want to install the bezel ring. Before taking this video, I already pre-assembled the O-ring, and for sure I already used the speed lubrication to pre-lube the O-ring. Now it's finally the time to case the movement. Even this SKX have a solid case back, nobody will see the movement, but I have OCD, I need to clean the movement to feel good. Finally, we are installing the chapter ring back to the watch. The customer actually specially informed me to not put the original bracelet back because he wants to put on a new bracelet, which I don't have, so that's why this watch doesn't wrap up with the bracelet. If you found this video is entertaining and educational, please like the video and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. This will help out the channel a lot. There are more videos like this in my channel. Please take your time to watch them all. Thank you for your support. If you have any questions, comment, concern, or you want to order a watch just like this, please write me an email. It is contact@darakwatches.com. This has been Darak from Darak Watches. I will see you next time. Bye.